The belt buckle occupies a strange position in everyday life. It is always present when worn, always centered, always performing its function, and yet almost entirely invisible to thought. Few people consider it unless it fails. Few objects succeed so thoroughly at being ignored. That success is not accidental. To understand why the belt buckle exists in its current form, it helps to start with the problem it quietly replaced. For most of human history, clothing did not assume a stable waist. Garments were draped, wrapped, layered, or tied. Tunics, robes, and trousers relied on drawstrings, knots, pins, or the simple fact that they were cut generously enough to stay in place. These solutions worked, but they came with trade-offs. Knots loosened, strings cut into the body, pins slipped, fixed closures assumed a static body, one that did not eat, breathe deeply, work, or change shape throughout the day. Movement required readjustment. Comfort was temporary. What people needed was not simply a way to hold clothing up. They needed a way to manage variation. The human torso is not constant. It expands and contracts with breath. It changes with posture. It fluctuates with meals, labor, fatigue, and time. Any solution that ignored that variability would always feel slightly wrong. The belt answered this by separating tension from closure. Unlike buttons or snaps, a belt does not lock clothing at a predetermined size. It creates adjustable tension around the body. That tension can be increased or released incrementally without unfastening the garment entirely. The belt buckle is the mechanism that makes this control possible. The earliest buckles were simple frames: a loop, a prong, a strap with holes. This design appears almost inevitable, but it solves several constraints at once. It allows for repeatable adjustment. It distributes force across a flexible material. It resists slipping through friction rather than brute force. Most importantly, it locks without knots. Knots are strong, but they are slow. They require two ends. They loosen unpredictably. A buckle needs only one free end, and once set, it stays set until deliberately changed. That reliability matters in daily life far more than we tend to notice. The buckle's effectiveness comes from a subtle physical principle. The prong does not hold the belt by strength alone. The belt holds itself. As tension increases, friction between the strap and the buckle increases as well. The system becomes more secure the more it is used. This is a recurring theme in good everyday design. The user supplies the energy. The object redirects it. The buckle does not fight the body. It cooperates with it. Over time, this cooperation reshaped clothing design itself. Garments could be cut looser, knowing they would be cinched later. Trousers could accommodate a range of bodies in daily variation. Belts made standard sizing more forgiving, which in turn made mass production more viable. But the buckle introduced another shift, one that goes beyond function. Because the belt sits at the waist, it occupies a visual anchor point. It divides upper and lower body. It marks center. Once belts became common, the buckle inevitably became visible. And once it became visible, it became expressive. This created a tension between utility and symbolism. On one hand, the buckle must remain mechanically simple. Too many moving parts reduce reliability. Too much decoration interferes with friction and alignment. The basic geometry cannot change much without compromising function. On the other hand, the buckle became a site of identity. It could signal status, profession, rebellion, restraint, or excess. It could be polished, oversized, hidden, ornate, or deliberately plain. What's notable is that these expressions almost never interfere with the underlying mechanism. The core design remains intact. Decoration is layered on top of a proven structure. This reveals an important constraint. The buckle is already optimized. When objects reach this stage, innovation slows. Changes become cosmetic rather than structural. The problem has been solved well enough that deviation introduces more cost than benefit. That does not mean alternatives have not been tried. Elastic waistbands remove the need for belts entirely, but elastic introduces its own trade-offs. It fatigues over time. It applies constant pressure rather than adjustable pressure. It works best for limited use cases, not for all-day wear across varied activities. Other fastening systems exist, but few match the buckle's balance of adjustability, durability, repairability, and intuitive use. The belt buckle also aligns with human habits. It provides discrete feedback, the click of the prong entering a hole, the resistance of the strap pulling through. These sensations confirm security without requiring visual attention. You don't need to look at a belt buckle to know it's working. That matters more than convenience. It allows the object to fade into the background. Attention is freed for other tasks. The buckle does its job and then disappears from thought. This is where the realization often lands. The belt buckle is not designed to be noticed. It is designed to accommodate change quietly. It assumes that bodies are inconsistent, days are unpredictable, and comfort must be adjustable without ceremony. It does not demand precision. It offers tolerance. That tolerance is the real innovation. Once you see this, the buckle stops feeling like a trivial accessory. It becomes a small, durable interface between biology and clothing, one that accepts fluctuation as normal rather than as a problem to be corrected. The most successful everyday objects are not the ones that impose order, but the ones that absorb variability without complaint. The belt buckle does this so well that it has nearly vanished from conscious awareness. And that invisibility is not a failure of design. It is the evidence that the design worked.